Hi. Hello. My name is Gavin. And this is new. This is new. This is a new thing that I really wanted to do. I recently, in the past 2 to 3 years, kind of got into reading, and all my life I've really liked making YouTube videos and stuff. I mean, I've had I don't even know, I had one in 5th grade, making Minecraft videos, which is pretty embarrassing now that I think about it. But no, I've always just really liked making stuff like this, making fun videos, quick videos, and recently I've been watching a lot of content creators that are book related because I've been reading a lot more. Which in part, I think I in the last 2 years, I've also come into college and graduated high school, the whole 9 yards, on my own a lot more. And I've found myself, a lot more interested in reading in that sort of slow enjoyment of something, and that, not necessarily always slow, but just, I have more patience for it. I have more time for it. And, out of high school and into college, I'm reading more and more things that I actually like. In college, I'm an architecture major, so a lot of the things I read are very artistic, and a lot of the things I write now are very artistic and very this represents how I felt during the process, and this represents, sort of my inspiration for this building, or sometimes they make us design chairs, so I have to explain why I designed a chair sometimes, so that's fun. It is fun, actually. I don't know why I'm making that out to be bad. I really like it. No, but I've recently really gotten into reading. My brother has always been into reading. Honestly, maybe that's why I didn't read growing up, because that was sort of his thing, and I was really into video games and movies and TV shows. I was a very technology kid, which is probably why I always liked to make videos and was on that side of that whole spectrum of entertainment. But yeah, so I wanted to sort of, Nick, who is Books Are Sick, I've joined his book club, and I've been on his Patreon and realized how cool it is to have this community of people who read the same things as you and read different things than you, which I think is even more important, is people who don't read the same things as you and can tell you about other things, which is really cool. And also just in my life, I haven't really found a space where I'm comfortable with talking about books. It's something that I'm new at, so I'm still kind of gaining my footing in sort of building up my foundations of reading, whether it's fantasy classics or, nonfiction, or, sometimes romance, sci-fi. I read anything. I read what piques my interest, and that's pretty much anything I pick up. So I am very selective right now, just because I don't really have those things that everyone's oh, you have to read this, or sometimes my brother and some of his friends, we started a book club together with them recently, with my brother and some of our friends and some other family members and things like that, and it was really cool. It was a really fun experience too. We're just in our first month, so I'm really into books this summer, as you can tell. Just joined Books Are Sick book club, and now I'm making my own with some friends and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a nice time to be Gavin right now. I'm having a good time right now. No more school, only working one job this summer, which is awesome. I have a lot more free time to see friends and to see my girlfriend and things like that. So yeah, a lot more time to be home and do stupid stuff like this. So as you see, these are my bookshelves. I'm sure I'll do a tour later. Down here, on top there, I don't know if you can see them very well. Right there, those are my Tolkiens. Big part of my childhood. Brother loves those. These are just all my books. And down there, on the bottom, you can't really see it. It's a black bookshelf on the, I guess, left. Or no, it's a video, so it's right. Okay. So those are like comics mostly. Comics was something that I would read as a kid, because who didn't read comics as a child? And I'm sorry, obviously I have a wall of comic book pages that I tore out and taped on my wall. So that's kind of a dead giveaway. No, but yeah, I don't know. This seemed like a fun idea. And honestly, I really owe it to Booksaresick, because he gets on, he talks about what he wants to talk about, and then he just gets off and he just does what he wants to do. And obviously, like, it's a lot more work than I see from the outside. And as someone who's made a lot of, stuff and done live streaming and things like that, and someone who's worked in, some different areas of production as well, like my dad's a photographer, I know there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see. But I think what I was most interested in is like just having a space where I can talk about it and not feel pretentious. I don't know if anyone ever gets that feeling. Like, I try to talk about it with some of my friends and, people that I really love to talk about things, and they don't make me feel pretentious at all. That's not at all. It's just like an insecurity in me, I think, that I need to probably address. But yeah, I just thought this would be easier because it's kind of like I'm talking to myself. So I always know what I mean when I say things, but I've always had a little bit of trouble communicating with people. So sometimes I always just feel like I'm saying the wrong things. But anyway, this is not my therapy session. That's not what this is going to be. I just want to talk about books. So I'm going to talk about books. I'm going to tell you what I've been reading lately, sort of where my interests have been lying this summer, and sort of some of the books that I crushed on vacation. I read one other one, sorry. It's probably going to go out of focus for a second. I did read one other, Agatha Christie. I love her. I don't know if there's many murder mystery fans. This one, I'm not gonna lie, I took it on vacation and I told myself, I'm gonna read this in one day. And unfortunately, I accidentally grabbed the only one that I have that is short stories rather than an actual full mystery. So I'm trying to find like a title page so you can see. Guys, please. There we go. So you can see it's like, that's not a chapter, that's a different story. So I just screwed myself because then my attention span was cooked. And while I was on vacation already, I wanted to swim, I wanted to do those types of things. So I did get through it in one day. I'm very proud to say that I did read this whole 200-page book in one day, but it was more of a chore. Other than that, though, this was great. Agatha Christie, amazing. I don't need to say that. I love it. Who doesn't love a good murder mystery, But yeah, I always read these as sort of like a nice palate cleanser. It always does the trick. So that was the first book I wanted to talk about. Very fun. The next book, this book really sort of actually impacted me a good bit. I really liked it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's been sitting on my shelf. It's Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It's not the original 1818, which I haven't really looked into the differences because I did just finish this last week. So I'm not entirely sure what the differences are. Or if there really is a difference. It could just be prose and things like that. Speaking of beautiful prose, a lot of people say, I've seen some Goodreads reviews, I just got on there, but I've seen some reviews that are like, they didn't like it, they thought it was boring, and they thought it was a drag, and I could not disagree more. I loved this book. This snuck its way right into my top 5, which I couldn't even tell you what my top 5 are, but this would be in it. But yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. It's probably already spoiled for most people, but I will say it's very different than what my understanding of the story was, and it was great. I loved it, and yeah, this might be a book I start recommending, which I feel like recommending one of the most famous books of all time is kind of redundant, but hey, who cares? Oh, also, this was my pick for my new book club with some of my friends and family, because it's been sitting on my shelf for so long. And I wanted something that was, under 300 pages. That would be a nice start. So this was great. This was great. One of my favorite reads ever. Really just great. This is what I'm working on right now. Jurassic Park. This is for Nick's book club. Books Are Sick. Really cool. I saw the movie a long time ago when I was a kid, and never really struck me as super interesting. I wasn't really a big dinosaur kid. I was a superheroes kid, so I was a Star Wars kid. Not to be confused with those weirdos nowadays that are like still obsessed with it and still really weird about. I don't need to say that Star Wars fans are kind of crazy now, but yeah. So really cool. Jurassic Park. Definitely a lot more in the first 100 pages about this before you kind of get to the park. That's really interesting. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of made me slow down with the reading a little bit, because I was kind of like, let's get to the dinosaurs. But now I'm at the dinosaurs, and I'm like, I'm so glad I stuck through and allowed it to build, because I'm appreciating a lot more. But yeah, I'm only about 150 pages in, so I'm about a third. Looking to finish this in the next 2 days so I can start my next book, which I still haven't picked out. So stay tuned for me picking that out in the next time you see me on this, whatever this is. I did get, my birthday was recently. I just turned 20. Probably shouldn't tell people online when my birthday is and stuff. Whatever. I don't know the rules to this, but I did get a gift card from my girlfriend's parents, which was very sweet, to Barnes & Noble. I love gift cards. They are my fave, definitely. I love gift cards. I'm very, very appreciative of them for a lot of ways, but that was a really sweet gift, and I loved it very much. But yeah, Barnes & Noble gift card, and I went and I got 3 books. I got The Picture of Dorian Gray. I've never read this, and I've heard a lot about it. I've had this actually recommended to me once or twice now by people who I tend to agree with their choice, like in literature. So yeah, and I've always heard great things about this. So this is definitely on my TBR now, not just a book I bought for fun, which I do a lot, and I'm sure many of you can relate to. Speaking of which, I did buy this book to save until later in this year, and you're going to see why in a second. But this book has come highly recommended by Books Are Sick, and also my brother, who's a huge Stephen King fan, and that is Pet Sematary. And somehow I have dodged just about every spoiler there is for this. I've heard nothing about it. The other day, and the thing is, my brother has read Stephen King for 8 years now, 10, 12 years probably. And yeah, so I've never heard anything about this. I've never read the back. I'm not going to. I'm just going to start it, but I'm waiting till spooky season, of course. But yeah, I literally knew nothing about Pet Sematary. And now, the other day when I bought it, I was with my girlfriend, and she said, yeah, you don't know about this book? It's about this guy, and he's dealing with the grief and loss of his kid and stuff, and it's crazy. And I was like, I didn't know that. I had no notion of what this was about. So I'm hoping that'll make it more exciting. So, no expectations. Lastly, this book is pretty famous. Rather famous, I'm pretty sure. At least they did just make a Netflix show about it. So you probably know what it is already, because I did show the back. But I was in the bookstore one day, and this guy came up to me and really recommended the heck out of it, and was like, it's my favorite trilogy of all time, and it's one of my favorite authors now. And he was telling me about how cool it is and how much he loves it. So I was like, I have to get this. That was a year ago though, or a couple months back, a while ago. But I finally, went and bought it. It's The 3-Body Problem by, and I'm not going to say this right. I should probably look it up. I am using my phone to record, so I'm not going to look it up, but I'm going to look it up so I can pronounce it better the next time. But I think it's, if I butcher it, it'll probably look really bad on me. We're just going to say Liu. We're going to go with that. We're going to say that it's translated by Ken Liu. So, Sijin? I'm so sorry if that's wrong, but that's the author. Super crazy sci-fi, like, you know, universal type thing, like time displace. I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm excited to pick this one up in hopefully in the near future. I have a lot of books on my shelf that have not been touched since I bought them. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now, in terms of reading. This is probably going to be one of the longest videos that I make. I like to ramble and I like to talk about it a lot. And, you know, I'm sure I'll do fun stuff later, like ranking books and like talking about my favorite books of the year, the month, you know, things like that. Like, I feel bad. I really am just copying Books Are Sick, but Books Are Sick, and I really love the way he does his videos. So, yeah, that wasn't much of an explanation, but what are you gonna do? Go follow him though. He's awesome. He's my inspiration for all of this. Him and really my brother. My brother always supports me when I'm talking about doing something stupid with YouTube. So, but yeah, if anyone was looking for a good book, Frankenstein was great. It's my most recent read. And Jurassic Park, full of surprises. Very fun book so far. So I will get back to you guys when I finish reading it. But I think that's it for today. And, you know, read. I don't know how I'm going to end these in the future. Hopefully I'll get better at it. But hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. So have a good one. See ya.